Now to a crime that makes everyone furious, except, I guess, the crooks. It's the stealing of catalytic converters. But there's good news. Cops believe they've taken down a major theft ring focused on our area. This is not just a run-of-the-mill bust, by the way. This appears to be a major operation dealing in tens of millions of dollars worth of stolen catalytic converters. And taking it out just might mean that you can park your car again on the street without worrying, at least worrying too much. In case you're a tad fuzzy on all this, Carfax.com reminds us that catalytic converters are under the car near the exhaust, and it's the part of the car that transforms nasty gases, things like hydrocarbons, carbon monoxide, and nitrogen oxides into water vapor and carbon dioxide. That all happens before it heads out of the tailpipe. It's still not great, but it's not as bad as, not having one. So what makes them so special to crooks? Well, they contain rare metals that are worth a lot of money. It's things like rhodium, platinum, and palladium. Police today said rhodium, I can say that one well, I think, was worth $2,500 an ounce 2 years ago. And now, check it out, it's worth $14,000 an ounce. That's a pretty good incentive for a market, even a black market, to form. And did it ever? Tens of thousands of people were targeted just in our greater area. In late May, our Evan Watson introduced us to Donna Gramont, who was hit 3 different times.
I can't imagine that everything's not escalated.
Donna Gramont likes walking to work, but right now, she doesn't have a choice. Last month, thieves stole her catalytic converter for a 3rd time since September. They pulled up behind her car, which was parked outside her work in East Portland, and a man used a power tool to cut it off. It took just 27 seconds.
Can you believe that? How infuriating. And lots of you were impacted, I know. Police held a news conference today in Beaverton to talk about this latest case and in vague terms how they got onto the ring. Apparently it all started with some sort of a tip last fall or winter. Police said they learned a 32-year-old named Tanner Lee Helbush from Beaverton was running an illegal fencing operation specializing in stolen catalytic converters. They won't say what exactly happened after that, although they will say dozens of investigators were involved and spent thousands of hours on the case. It's a good bet that they were watching Helbush quite a bit, and after several months, this past March, pulled him over. Here's a Beaverton spokesman, Officer Matt Henderson.
On March 1st, 2022, Tanner Helbush was stopped by police in a vehicle transporting over 100 stolen catalytic converters with a street value of $80,000.
But he was not the main target of investigators. Police wanted to know who was running the theft ring, who was behind all the stolen catalytic converters that they say Helbush was buying from thieves.
In March 2022, Beaverton police detectives identified 32-year-old Brendan Patrick Doyle of Lake Oswego as the leader of the criminal organization. Brendan Doyle is believed to have trafficked over 44,000 stolen catalytic converters with a street value of $22 million.
Yes, that is the person they wanted, the person on the top. Turns out he was living the high life in a rented lakefront home at Lake Oswego. So that was a lot to learn for investigators back in March, but apparently they didn't have enough because they waited until this past week to move in.
The investigation culminated last week with the search of 8 locations, including a waterfront residence in Lake Oswego. The search led to the seizure of over 3,000 catalytic converters, hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, a high-end vehicle, and jewelry. The case spanned over 6 Oregon counties and reached into the states of Washington, Nevada, California, Texas, and New York.
Officer Henderson, the spokesman there, said the ring was selling the stolen converters out of state, and he wouldn't say where other than on the East Coast, and maybe he just forgot that he had just told us that New York was one of the states involved. By the way, the police did not just catch those 2.
On July 29, 2022, a Washington County grand jury indicted Brendan Patrick Doyle and Tanner Lee Helbush and 12 other individuals on charges including racketeering, aggravated theft, and money laundering.
Beaverton's interim police chief spoke directly to members of the community.
I want to thank you for your patience while we investigated this case. I know it's been frustrating to see this type of criminal activity continually happen with seemingly no end in sight. And we understand the financial burden and inconveniences put on everyone who has been a victim of this criminal organization. Your patience has allowed us to take this organization down from the top instead of just scratching the surface level.
Doyle now faces a 72-count criminal indictment. He's pled not guilty. Helbush faces 20 counts. He has also pled not guilty.